Good gracious, it's cold. Nice and tight. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
Let's wait. Action. Let's wait. Action.
A little bit.
Let's wait. Action. Let's wait. Action.
I'm gonna go ahead and start because I am hungry. I just wrapped a piece of a big,
Let's wait.
what do you call those? One of those things like the ice packs, but the solid plastic ones got weight. You put a little compression on it. It's swelled up a little bit. It's not broken or nothing. Like I said, my toe ever since the accident in the military and the break dance and everything I did, and all the running I've done. I don't know how many miles. I went 10K. I ran some very long marathons, people. And that's on top of my toe not having hardly no cartilage between it. And just because this one that attacked my feet in my sleep because I moved my legs, like leg sleeping syndrome, whatever they call it, leg moving syndrome. But you remember, I sleep apnea and insomnia. So even though I might sleep 2 or 3 hours, I move in my sleep. Not very bad. There are times when I don't move at all. You would think that I'm not alive. But I have to do this. And especially if I'm fasting, I'm drinking lime water. Lemon water warm is actually good too. I like lime because it's more alkaline. And the lemon is from a lime. I wish we had the organic ones I remember eating when I was a kid, the big lumpy ones my mom used to bring home. I haven't seen those since I got out the military. So that's what I'm drinking. I took some black seed oil, and it's a little sore. I walk on it. So I've got to get the small amount of swelling that happened to go down. I'm still going to be active. If I have to run, I'm going to run. I don't care, But I just want to this book. I got 2 more, but I'm not opening those. I'll open one every couple of days. So this is George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. Let's turn this down a little more. I really don't even need it. This is just background music. Dark. You know what? Let's get off of this because this is dark hip hop beats. Darkness Falls. And it's no copyright rap beats. That's what it is. It's a whole thing of them. I play all of them most of the time I'm playing, but it's hitting at the sound that we really, really don't want. You know what I mean? That 440. So I like to have a little bit of jazz or country, you know what I'm saying, in the back. So I'm putting a little jazz because I like to have a little something going in the background. You get what I'm saying? And this is one of I love listening to this one for like 4 or 5 hours. But anyway, This is an original history of ancient America founded upon the ruins of antiquity. The identity of the Aborigines with the people of Tyrus in Israel, and the introduction of Christianity by the Apostle St. Thomas, by George Jones, RSI, MSFSY, dedicated to His Grace the Archbishop of Canterbury, published in 1843. This is all the original reprinted, all the original stuff. I was looking at the original, and that is thousands of dollars, and I'll be dang. And I was like, so here everything is, we can actually read it. I know a lot of y'all really be come along and watch this. You'll be really interested in this one. I got a few more coming. Y'all gonna be surprised, and then I'm still waiting on the ones that should have been here. It's about 3 of them, and I was supposed to receive a big package today. Maybe they're gonna put it up late. I don't know. It'll probably be in there tomorrow. So, and I'll probably share that with you as well. Hopefully those books come in all together at the same time. Besides those two, well, one of them is actually one of the books. The other one is one I ordered actually last week, but I ordered it from Thrift Books. Thrift Books, and usually Thrift Books is kind of late, but it came a little over 7 days. So it's the ruins of antiquity, everything. Spiritual, political, commercial, history of Tyrus, the destruction of that kingdom, Alexander Macedonia. This is just the Tyrian migration. This is going to be, but we're looking at the year, right? So we know what was taking place just by reading this book. We know that at that period of time, by reading the exposition, exposing the expositions of 1851 and 1950, and that's 1843. We know what was being planned prior to that, before they enacted upon, and before the Roaring 20s, when they really started kicking off a lot of. We were still in the westerns. We actually were playing the Indians, and when I was in Thomas Edison Building, I was going through one of the old books there that they have in the thing, and we had I think it was about 140 movies, silent and with sound. We played the Indians, and even in 2 of the short 5-minute videos, the Grand South was all Negro. You know, you do like this. I worked on the first floor in Thomas Edison Building at co-welding. That's where I learned aluminum welding. I got interested in a lot of welding, and that's why I went to school over here when I was on the reservation. And I worked on the second floor because I love working with wood. I like to create things, and carpentry. So I worked with this Irish gentleman, very short guy. His name was James as well, redhead guy. Taught me how to make baby cribs, chairs, you name it. I measure twice, measure 4 times, and cut once. So other than that, and I learned as much as I talked to 2 older gentlemen who worked there as children. So we're gonna go ahead and get in the reading, but I still wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys. I don't like to open it unless I'm right here. So, and the other 2 I'm not gonna open. I'm not in a rush because there's so many books I've got downstairs. When y'all saw like the 2 rows of books like lined up, I got books right over there, books right there. I got 1, 2, 3. There's 8 books I haven't even looked at. I got all the Revolutionary War, Confederacy, blah blah, the new stuff, but I got stuff that contradicts that. I got about 4 books up there, 5 books, big books up there with my hats. 2 books right up under my TV that I just put there. I went to the shed and grabbed those 2 because I think those are gonna be. I need to go through them. I think they'll be very descriptive. This one right here, though, from the reviews I read, it's going to be this is going to be an interesting book. I'm going to read this alone with you guys, but let's go ahead and jump right into Abraham Africanus I, Alexander Del Mar, John F. Feeks and Company. I got to say it like this because I tell you, it's weight on my feet right now, and I need it. His secret life as revealed under the mesmeric influence mysteries of the White House, and we're pretty much at the end, really. Remember I was stating that? So we're at the friend. Because after that, then we start getting into, I believe, are the poems to which, make sure that The bottom here, 1864. A year later, the end. Yeah, this is poems that he wrote. I just want to make sure that he wrote these. February 18, little ex-governor Morgan of New York. Can't hardly read this. Homestead law and several public license literature, the war debt. Yeah, I was talking to my uncle, and it surprised me. He had a bed that was made by his great, and when he was about 5 or 6, I think he was a little older, and Mama Tina cut it open. She took the mattress that was handmade, cut it open, and I forget, it had a whole bunch of war bonds, a whole bunch of war bonds from the Civil War in his mattress that was hidden. That's what a lot of people who owned a lot, who had a lot of, like I said, South Plantation, became a tourist site. You can't even Google it, even though I have all the documents, the building and everything. And I told him, he says, what? I was like, yeah, I attempted to Google it to see if there's any new fresh pictures. I says, it's not even there no more. I said, so I guess they're paying attention. They want to eradicate history like it's going to do them any good, but it's not. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this reading so we can go ahead and get through the other ones as well. All right, chapter X, the Fiend. Damn, that was on 4. Put on 3. The last words of Sue's tell died away into a sort of hoarse whisper. And yes, whenever you see the videos I do first, I do them with a purpose, regardless of telling some truth. The other one is I really want to push knuckleheads away. You dig? I want to push the knuckleheads away. Or the people who have no emotions and feelings can stick around. I don't mind the view. You can sit there on your time, 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Doesn't matter to me. But anyway, everything has a purpose. The last words of Sue's tale died away into a sort of hoarse whisper, and were heard in dead silence as the supernatural subject of it fixed itself upon the minds of himself and his listeners. A long silence followed it. Sue whittled the arm of his chair, and Stentor poked the fire, and Cheese pulled out a little parchment scroll from his vest bosom and read it over privately, glancing at the others now and then to see if they were watching him. All right, he murmured. It doesn't interfere with my contract. Every man for himself, say I. At this moment, a knock was heard at the door. Come in, said Stentor. The door flew open, and a servant in livery disclosed himself. The president, he inquired blandly. Not here, returned Sue curtly. Excuse me, my lord. I mean, your excellency. But if I'm not mistaken, the president is before me. I tell you he's not here, persisted Sue. And I tell you, you lie, roared the flunky, pushing past him and rousing the sleeping Bram from his chair. Sue became livid with rage. He ran to his little bell and hastily put his name to a blank order of arrest. An officer appeared at the door. Here, said he, arrest that imprudent rascal directly and convey him to the vilest dungeon in America. Yes, we had dungeons, people. Where? Inquired the officer. Park Barracks, New York. The officer advanced and collared his prisoner. Come along with me, said he roughly. But Bram was now fully awake, and seeing the danger his cockney friend was in, quickly interposed his superior authority. Let go, he commanded. The officer relinquished his hold. Vamos, said Bram. The provost marshals obsculated the ranch. And what's all this about, gentlemen? Said Bram ferociously. Can't a friend of mine ask for me without running in danger of being arrested? The Confederates hung their heads without daring to say a word. Bram glared fiercely upon them. How long have I been to sleep? He demanded. Nearly 3 hours, replied Cheese. Have I been babbling to you, saying anything I ought not to have said? Been indiscreet? Eh? Rapid glances passed between the three. Caught one of these telltales, and suspecting all was not right. That is right. Yeah, because Bram caught one of these telltales, and suspecting all was not right, changed his tone instanter. Pardon me, Sue, my boy. I was only joking with you. Let's make up. I'll give you permission to lock up the very next man that comes along. Cheesy and Stenter, I'll make it all square with you when I come back. We'll make up a game of poker and play one southern plantation ante up. How do you like that, eh? Capital? They exclaimed. They shook hands all around and looked quite delighted. And in the midst of all this happiness, Bram departed arm in arm with his liveried friend. As the door closed upon him, the faces of the Confederates lengthened. Who is that flunky? Asked Stenter. Bram should that Bram should feel soft about him. It says sure, but it says should. That Bram sure feels so soft about him and so thick with him. Is it possible you don't know? Replied Cheese. Stenter shook his head. Nor do I. Jerked out the mortified Sioux, or I wouldn't have handled the fellow so roughly. Pray, enlighten us. He is the private and confidential servant of Dr. And here Cheese whispered the name in his friend's ears. Sue looked serious. Stenter didn't comprehend it. Who is Dr. He began bluntly. Hush, said Cheese. Don't mention the name for worlds. I'll tell you. Did you never hear of a certain chiropodist? I never even heard of that word. I went to med school. Chiropodist. What is that? I ain't gonna look it up right now. In New York, who possessed great mastery over Bram's mind? Oh, wow. Who could manage him any way he pleased, who cut his corns, went on secret missions, was commissioned to New Orleans to watch Banks, and afterwards to Norfolk to overlook Butler, who possessed great influence with all the rich Jews in New York, and undertook to get loans of money from them. The Hendricks? The Josephs, who used to represent the Rothschilds? The Bammers? The Ensters? It's not spelling it off. And the Nathans, who got up the Russian ball and who danced with Miss Bram at the party last winter, who doctors him and writes his speeches, who advises him and directs him in question of state, who... Hold, cried Sue. I thought I was the man who did all this. The devil you did, cried Stenter. I thought I was the man. You're both wrong, gentlemen. I was the man till the doctor stepped in and took the wind out of my sails, for with which I was not sorry, for I was getting tired of him at that time and might have missed the opportunity. I soon after had of forming an alliance with another party. Sue and Stenter bit their lips till the blood came, and then ran from the room howling, in brackets French style. I guess like the old word for a cigarette. Cheese smiled complacently and sitting down to the table penned the following telegram in secret. Cipher to New York. Buy Rock Island at anything under 144 a corner. Sell 2080 short and bull the market on gold. Mum. And then we get into a year later, how little, these are pretty much poems. I'm just going to give you a little taste and I'll pick a day just to read these for you. How little do the humble know what misery's greatness is heir to, what heartaches, jealousies, and cares beset their anxious hearts with fears. When high resolves have once elated, what pain to see them all frustrated. What hellish passions take their place when failure brings with it disgrace. How stoop their minds beneath the blow to everything that's mean and low. What shifts they make, what agents use, whatever gives hope they madly choose. With naught to risk, they spare no cost to gain position they have lost. Debase themselves, they seek to find a kindred basement in mankind, and feeling self-condemned the while, would think all others just as vile. And there's plenty more. Just give me a little taste of that. So this is pretty much it. And these are all just poems, but like nursery rhymes. They mean something as far as the story by the actions acquitted by the individuals, which is well known in real history that the so-called South, Brown's betrayal, that they all used to mitigate and talk and share the same court. And a lot of people don't even know that because fake Hollywood and everybody else, they never show nothing. They always show some fictional war and this, that, and the other. And then they get to all little pedos and actors, glory and all that other foolishness. But again, this is roughly around 1860 something. So, and this is the actual notes and everything also as well. All right, so I will definitely read y'all the poems because I really, really love poems. I have books on poetry. I'm not going to read poetry on here, and I love poetry. I write a lot of it. Let's go ahead. Arthur Kessler, The 13th Tribe. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that feels so good. I just want my toe to go numb for about, I'm going to leave it on there for about a good 20 minutes when it starts softening up. So anyway, so Arthur Kessler, The 13th Tribe, the startling new discovery about the true ancestry of the Jewish people, and it will cause a stir. John Barkman Review. Okay. Excuse me. I feel I'm getting a cluster headache. So pay attention to this. So chapter 6. I just wanted to read something because I looked at it yesterday. After mentioning Obadiah's religious reforms, Joseph, whatever you want to call it, gives a list of his successors. Hiskia, his son, and his son Manasseh, and Hanukkah. That's right, Hanukkah, the brother of Obadiah, and Isaac, his son, Manasseh, his son, Nisi, his son, Menahem, his son, Benjamin, his son, Aaron, his son, and I am Joseph, son of Aaron, the blessed. And we were all sons of kings, and no stranger was allowed to occupy the throne of our fathers. Next, Joseph attempts to answer Hesedai's questions about the size and topography of his country, but he does not seem to have a competent person at his court who could match the skill of the Arab geographers. And his obscure references to other countries and nations add little to what we know from Ibn Hakwel, Masadi, and the other Persian and Arabic sources. He claims to collect tribute, from 37 nations, which seems a rather tall proposition. Wow, that hurts. Yet Dunlop points out that 9 of these appear to be tribes living in the Khazar heartland, and the remaining 28 agree quite well with the Ibn Fadlan's mention of 25 wives, each the daughter of a vassal king. And in parentheses it states, and also with Eldad Hadanai's dubious tales. And we must further bear in mind the multitude of Slavonic tribes along the upper reaches of the Dnieper and as far as Moscow, which, as we shall see, paid tribute to the Khazars. However, that may be, there is no reference in Joseph's letter to a royal harem, only a mention of a single queen and her maids and eunuchs. These are said to live in one of the 3 boroughs of Joseph's capital, Etel. In the second live Israelites, Ishmaelis, Christians, and other nations who speak other languages, the third, which is an island, I inhabit myself, with the prince's bondsmen and all the servants that belong to me. We live in the town through the whole of winter, but in the month of Nisan, March or April, we set out, and everyone goes to labor in his field and his garden. Every clan has his hereditary estate, for which they head with joy and jubilation. And that's what Shaw's plantation was to my family, hereditary. No voice of an intruder can be heard there. No enemy is to be seen. The country does not have much rain, but there are many rivers with a multitude of big fish and many sources, and it is generally fertile and fat in fields and vineyards, gardens and orchards, which are integrated by the rivers and bear rich fruit. And with God's help, I live in peace. The next passage is devoted to the date of the coming of the Messiah. Now, what's funny is you know that these individuals I'm speaking about are Khazars. They've converted by long since King Bulan. We have our eyes on the sages of Jerusalem and Babylon, and although we live far away from Zion, we have nevertheless heard that the calculations are erroneous owing to the great profusion of sins, and we know nothing. Only the Eternal knows how to keep the count. We have nothing to hold, only the prophecies of Daniel, and may the Eternal speed up our deliverance. The concluded paragraph of Joseph's letter is a reply to Hastai's apparent offer to enter into the service of the Khazar king. Thou hast mentioned in thy letter a desire to see my face. I too wish and long to behold any gracious face in the splendor of thy magnificence, wisdom, and greatness. I wish that thy words, well, this is the divine of Etel into three parts, is also mentioned, as we have seen in some of the Arab sources. So that's just a quote as far as the information gathering. I wish that thy words will come true, that I should know the happiness to hold thee in my embrace, and to see thy dear, friendly, and agreeable face. Thou wouldst be to me as a father, and I to thee as a son. All my people would kiss my lips, and we would come and go according to thy wishes and thy wise counsel. There is a passage in Joseph's letter which deals with topical politics and is rather obscure. With the help of the Almighty, I guard the mouth of the river, the Volga, in brackets, and do not permit the Rus, which is the Russos or the Russians, who come in their ships to invade the land of the Arabs. I fight heavy wars with them, the Rus, for if I allow it, they would devastate the lands of Ishmael, even to Baghdad. Joseph here appears to pose as the defender of the Baghdad Caliphate against the Norman Rus raiders. That would be in chapter 3. I'm not going back there. This might seem a little tactless in view of the bitter hostility between the Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba, which is Spain, which Hasdai is serving, and the Abbasid Caliphates of Baghdad. On the other hand, the vagaries of Byzantine policy towards the Khazars made it expedient for Joseph to appear in the role of a defender of Islam, regardless of the schism between the two caliphates. At least he could hope that Hasdai, the experienced diplomat, would take the hint. The meeting between the two correspondents, if ever seriously intended, never took place. No further letters, if any, were exchanged and have been preserved. The factual content of the Khazar correspondence is maigre and adds little to what was already known from other sources. Its fascination lies in the bizarre fragmentary vistas that it conveys, like an erratic searchlight focusing on disjointed regions in the dense fog that covers the period. That's very caustic, if you ask me, as far as historical. So he's going with the information that he was provided based upon his studies, being over in that part of the land, and the vestiges of the information that was privy to certain Ashkenazi families. Pretty interesting, isn't it? It always gets me. Let's get into a little bit of Behold the Pale Horse. Let me take a sip of this water and lime. Just a little bit. Too much alkali, even when you're fasting, is not good. So I've got regular water too, and I'm going to take a charcoal pill in about an hour. That's good. Even when you fast, even first or second day, you don't want to overdo the alkaline. It's not acidity, but it can be overpowering. You know, we consist of microbes, whether you believe it or not. And like glyphosate, that's in all these different foods they spray on top of stuff. It kills the microbes in us just as well as the microbes that damage fruit, which was never no problem before because we need those microbes. Glyphosate, whatever you want to call that stuff. Excuse me. So here we are. Behold the Pale Horse. by William Cooper. Namaste. Excuse me. Enforcement. Factor one. As in every social system approach, stability is achieved only by understanding and accounting for human nature. Now, this is silent weapons for quiet wars. We're dealing with that on such a large scale right now. Accounting for human nature. In parentheses, it states action forward slash reaction to patterns. End. Wow. A failure to do so can be, and usually is, disastrous. As in other human social schemes, one form or another of intimidation or incentive is essential to the success of the draft. Now, we know by incentive because we see that with the gay agenda. These people are so blind as to enjoying their perversion that they don't even know what part they're playing in their own destruction. Is essential to the success of the draft. Physical principles of action and reaction must be applied to both internal and external subsystems. We're talking about people and the construct of the social dynamics. To secure the draft, individual brainwashing forward slash programming and both the family unit and the peer group must be engaged and brought under control. You see that. You see that every day. And a lot of you even see it at work. Factor two, the father. The man of the household must be housebroken to ensure that Junior will grow up with the right social training and attitudes. The advertising media, etc., are engaged to see to it that the father to be is pussy whipped before or by the time he is married. He is taught that he either conforms to the social notch cut out for him or his sex life will be hobbled and his tender companionship will be zero. He is made to see that woman demands security more than logical, principled, or honorable behavior. So they educated to make us dumb, divided the family with welfare after stealing land, because people were tired of fighting. Not everybody, but those in loose brackets. And then they institutionalized by how? Well, a man can't be with you in order for you to receive these food stamps and this. And then the man's out there hustling to make even more funds while the whole system is standing against him. That's double folded. Anyway, and that's where you lose the honor. The man loses his honor, his principles, his logical thinking, and he becomes tarry to the institutionalization of what J.D. Rockefeller's father, Morgan, Ford, all of them worked together to create. By the time enforced by the OSS or the CIA, whatever you want to call them, by the time his son, the FBI and the IRS, all of them fictional entities with real bodies, puppets, by the time his son must go to war, father, and in parentheses it states, with jelly for a backbone, will slam a gun into Junior's hand before father will risk the censor of his peers or make a hypocrite of himself by crossing the investment he has in his own personal opinion or self-esteem. Junior will go to war or father will be embarrassed. So Junior will go to war, the true purpose notwithstanding, to kill generations, blood sacrifices. However you want to see these reptilian fucks, these Nephilims, or whatever you want to call them. Excuse my language. Factor three, the mother. The female element of human society, which y'all are so friggin' important, man. Human society is ruled by emotion first and logic second. You paying attention? The female element of human society is ruled by emotion first and logic second. In the battle between logic and imagination, imagination always wins. Fantasy prevails and maternal instinct dominates so that the child becomes first and the future comes second. That was never the way it was set up. That is not nurturing. A woman with a newborn baby is too starry-eyed, to see a wealthy man's cannon fodder or a cheap source of slave labor. A woman must, however, be conditioned to accept the transition to reality when it comes or sooner. The lies they tell them when they have you get that certificate of life and they stamp the ink, the foot in the hand, which goes off to the Netherlands, to the Rothschilds, to the Vatican or whatever. held in dock over here, and then they submit down the road with the Social Security card a birth certificate, which is also a death certificate. When they started doing that with us, what was that start around like 1960, something like that? Anyway, that was now putting us, incorporating us into the U.S. because America was never USA. It was always just America. Look it up. As the transition becomes more difficult to manage, the family unit must be carefully disintegrated. And state controlled public education and state operated child care centers must become more common and legally enforced. Actually, there's nothing legal about it. That's the illusion. So as to begin the detachment of the child from the mother and father at an earlier age. Inoculation of behavioral drugs, Ritalin in brackets, can speed the transition for the child, which is mandatory at the time. And let's bring caution in. A woman's impulsive anger can override her fear. An irate woman's power must never be underestimated, and her power over a pussy whipped husband must likewise never be underestimated. It got women the vote in 1920, when y'all used to be the voice of who would be selected long ago. Factor 4, the juror. Check this out. Silent weapons for quiet wars. While you were sleeping, while you were walking, put on these shades. I got one who can see, The junior, excuse me. The emotional pressure for self-preservation during time of war and the self-serving attitude of the common herd that have an option to avoid the battlefield. If Junior can be persuaded to go, is all the pressure finally necessary to propel Johnny off to war? Their quiet blackmailings of him are the threats. No sacrifice, no friends, no glory, no girlfriends. Ain't that some? And they damn sure tried it with us. Factor 5, the sister. And what about Junior's sister? She is given all the good things of life by her father and taught to expect the same from her future husband, regardless of the price. Factor 6, the cattle. Those who will not use their brains are no better off than those who have no brains. Remember, the word human is alluded to a sea or a beast, a mammal, not a sentient being. And so this mindless school of jellyfish, father, mother, son, and daughter, become useful beasts of burden or trainers of the same. Now you take a generation and now you prolificate the ignorance, and it prolificates itself. It's usurped because now we have people who want to be teachers and the world, and some got the riches, class status, and you see the divergence and how it happens. You can't make this stuff up. End of excerpt. Silent weapons for quiet wars. And then we have an author's note, and I'll read that tomorrow. I'll come back to that page. And now we're going to get into the secret societies and the New World Order. That's going to be, and I'm going to keep that going for you guys. That's going to be really good. Let's go ahead and hit DNA of the Gods, the Anunnaki creation of Eve, and the alien battle for humanity by Chris H. Hardy. I ain't saying that PH, whatever, I almost said it all. What you doing, Baba? Oh, okay. He's licking your leg. Okay. Yeah. My toe balls. Okay, anywho. We went through all the bullet points, and then we're down here. And that was based on the synthesis. And we were talking about Nagal, Inky, Enlil, all those, okay? But this is not all that we may deduce, for we can ask ourselves the question, how did the other gods in the earthling population react to all this that was going on? Obviously, they also were so enraged by Marduk having gained a foothold in Sumer. It's spelled like summer with one M, but Sumer, that they didn't acknowledge what he had done to bring them water and relief from crop shortage. Now, in parentheses, it states plants and animals had been dying. And they also preferred to suffer rather than to acknowledge their own preconceived ideas and recognize the good deed Marduk had done and call him back with excuses. Now, they will just add another object of hatred, Nergal. He's the focus. He's created all this because he wants to be ruler. Also, when Enki realized what had happened, he scolded Nergal and threw him out of Sumer. But he was, however, unable to turn around the minds of the other gods or call a new assembly to question, overturn their decision. We see exactly what kind of behavior among humans, don't we? We see people so blinded by their hatred that they prefer to suffer big damages rather than recognize that the hated person may have some talents or even utility. So you see the war that was being fought between them and the humans. And they even keep shouting so loud that they are in effect able to forget that they were themselves the cause of their misfortune. That is to say, to blame them for being disobedient slaves. What is important for them is that the enemy remains the enemy, and 100% so that they keep believing that no good whatsoever can ever be done by him or her. Hatred makes people blind and stupid, and we see that gods, at least the ones we have had to contend with on earth, being so often hateful, are not spared. Given the psychology of hatred, we may bet that the gods were blaming Marduk, him again, questionable, for the disruption of the water infrastructure, which was very important to our sources of life. This act of violence is just one of many in Marduk's era of power, the saga, to continue. You see you saw it, Judo flip, right? I am the stone that the creator refused, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, save for Enki, all the Anunnaki leagued against the Malaim. Let me get that right. Let me say that again. Save for Enki, all the Anunnaki joined together against the Malaim. Now, in parentheses, the one nobody loves, and who knew through astrological and esoteric data that his time had come and that the ancient prophecy of his father, that he would at one point be the greatest among the gods, to which was on the verge of happening. Now, as Marduk, but also as Ra, Amura Mazda, and Bel, he was indeed going to be the king of the gods on earth for a whole cycle. But given he had linked his ascendancy to the processional cycle of the ram, each of the 12 main Anunnaki was linked to a specific constellation. So, wow, the 12. And we know this to be fractured because we had 13 seasons. Enki made more precise astronomical observations and showed his son his time had not exactly started. Marduk, just as his own son, Nabu, used the buffer time to roam the planet and prime the crowds of earthlings to his greatness and turn on whole people to believe in him, the sole, the unique God, the one, the singular. We'll read this one and we'll move on. This was, of course, a matter for dire godly rage. Now, we know that when we're saying this, the Anunnaki, and it's that, it alludes to what? The Nephilim, right? This was, of course, a matter for dire godly rage. But why had the assembly of the gods not leagued against Inanna when some cycles earlier she claimed the exact same thing, and being even less of a diplomat, she made it known by subduing whole populations through ferocious wars. To the contrary, she had the blessing of Anu, of Enlil, her godfather, and also of her father, Nanna. And she had to go to extremes. The defilement of Enlil's temple, no less for the gods at last to decide to stop her. So how are we to understand that such a brainless and immature individual as Nergal could be a voice of authority and the one to rally the assembly? when he made his case to use the weapons of terror against Marduk? Questionable. Apart from Enki and a mostly silent Nimna, was there no mind of enough depth to have seen through the role of Nagal in the water disaster of Sumar? And in parentheses it states, let's remember we are talking about lethal consequences, space, with people, fauna, and flora dying. Fauna being what? The animals. And I remember learning that in school. I don't know when to stop because I remember telling people, yeah, what kind of fauna you got on your farm? What the hell is farmer, boy? Good gracious. You ain't country. Now, remember about what 30 videos back I broke down God, and before that the etymology of as far as what's been pushed here. That's why I don't really like using that, because I know that to compare, they say to gaze upon the face of God, look in the mirror. So the omnipotent one, there is no label. Just as we had no in the beginning, we didn't label anything. Everything had order to it. And it still does, regardless of our brokenness. The Book of Giants, The Watchers, Nephilim, and the Book of Enoch by Joseph Lumpkin. I wonder if any of y'all purchased any of these. Well, why? Well, I can read it, right? I love reading too. Okay, so I expressed to you the quatrains of the Book of Enoch. And we pretty much read all of them. I read the majority of these over here, about 7 of them. And then I came over and read the last one. Thereupon 2 of them had dreams in the sleep of their eyes, fled from them. And we're talking about the Nephilim, the giants, the born of man, woman, and gods. Well, them individuals. All the children of men shall become righteous, and all nations shall offer adoration and shall praise me. We was there. And we did 22, which at the end it says, this generation to all generations and forever. Talking about after the flood. But let's get into chapter 11. And in those days I will open the storehouse of blessings in heaven, and rain down blessings on the earth, and over the work and labor of the children of man. That's servitude, slavery, and all that. Mine house, and prove me now herewith, said the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Remember I told you they could take everybody on earth? That's why I tell you to pay attention to the foolishness they're saying and put them in the state of Washington, shoulder to shoulder. We're talking about room, not scrunched up, shoulder to shoulder standing. Everybody on earth in the state of Washington. The earth is, we can have 1,000,000 times the numbers we have right now, and the earth still would not be overpopulated. Truth and peace shall be united throughout all the days of the world and throughout all the generations of men. In chapter 12, it states, then Enoch disappeared, and no one of the children of men knew where he was hidden and where he abode. Boy, he was taken up, right? Genesis 5:21, and Enoch lived 60 and 5 years and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with the Creator after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 360 and 5 years. And Enoch walked with the Creator, and he was not, for the Creator took him. And what had become of him and his activities were with the holy ones and the watchers. See, a lot of people like to say the watchers. And in a sense, at one point we were everywhere. But the watchers are bigger than that. They're the celestial stars that you cannot perceive for the waters, that they have to make fake planets using lands abroad that have been written in history that the Vatican has all of. And they know this. That's why they always send in missions and secret soldiers who you know nothing about and test tube babies to Antarctica to further go out to bring war. And a lot of them don't return. And what had become of him and his activities were with the holy ones and the watchers. And this states in this, and we're going to look at I think it's collisions, I believe. Space to Enoch, the noted scribe, and he will interpret for us the dream. Thereupon his fellow Ohiah declared and said to the giants, I too had a dream this night, O giants, and behold, the ruler of heaven came down to earth. space. And such is the end of the dream. Thereupon all the giants and monsters grew afraid and called Mahweh. He came to them, and the giants pleaded with him and sent him to Enoch, the noted scribe. They said to him, Go, space, missing material, to you that space. They removed names. You have heard his voice. And he said to him, He will blank and interpret the dreams. How long the giants have to live. It's not talking about pre and post flood. It's talking about finite. And I, Enoch, was blessing the host of majesty and the king of the ages. And lo, the watchers called me, Enoch, the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, you scribe of righteousness, go tell the watchers of heaven who have left the high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken to themselves wives. Well, I went against them. Those are the fallen watchers. I think was it 200 or something like that? I forget. I forget how many it was. It might be more than that. I forget. You have done great destruction on the earth, and you shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. Since they delight themselves in their children, they shall see the murder of their beloved ones and the destruction of their children. And they shall lament and shall make supplication forever. You will receive neither mercy nor peace. This is the author's note in parentheses. Although we are led to believe the fallen angels are loathsome and evil, they loved and adored their children. Further, it was not the angels that became the demons. It was their children whose spirits were evil and could not be killed. That's what a lot of people don't know. Because when I was in churches, I was talking about, and the angels are the demons, and they run. No. They were half mortal, which we're sentient. We're more than mortal ourselves. We just don't know it. We're from the Creator. And they themselves are a mixture. So when they die, immortal, they didn't have a source like we do. They cannot. They roam the earth. Now, their parents, per se, well, they're locked away. So the spirits roam. And that's why whenever people say, I had a spirit come upon me, I'm like this. And I don't say nothing to hurt or harm them. See, our ancestors return. We return to the source. We can see everything, though. I believe you have a choice to return with knowledge. And I believe that because when you go back to the source, you know the truth of everything. There's no need to come back. Except for those who want to admonish and show themselves upon certain numbers. Listen to the story. What is his name? Simon Matoko. And y'all know that story in Africa, what he did to the Dutch. It's funny because it happened right around the time when they left. And the destruction of vehicles, which nobody could explain. Who destroyed them? So we're going to stop that right there because then we start getting back into the quatrains of the original based upon, I guess you could say, the comparisons between Gilgamesh and, you know how it goes. But this is the book of Enoch, pretty much, with a lot of missing stuff and a lot of stuff there. We'll do the figuring when we get to those parts, because now it gets more into the stories as it starts to rival everything that we've already been over. Exposing the Expositions, 1851-1950. This is the revised edition of Holly Mikowski's 2019 version when the pandemic started. So this was created in 2021. I would love to see if he would watch this or if he heard anybody, and I hope he receives a letter and goes about taking it to himself to rewrite some new with all the information and material on it.
Potential spam.
Excuse me, we're getting a spam call. These goofies never stop. They don't amaze me. It's just amazing how goofy they are. So anyway, what San Francisco is supposed to look like in 1848? I showed you all that. San Francisco 1950, the final fair to talk about is the 1950 Panama Exhibition in San Francisco. It was the last of the great fairs, excuse me, and along with World War One becomes the marker for what came historically after. Prior to the First World War, the fairs had an industrial theme based around Greco-Roman buildings. We went through this last one I really liked. After the war, there came a more modern style exposition building and a focus on science and carnival type fun. California was given its name when the Spanish, I'm going to reiterate this for anybody that's new here. Spanish owners believed, or may have at the time correctly understood, that California was an island. The area was named after the mythological island in the famous novel Las Sagas de Esplandian, and my Spanish is garbage right now. I haven't really been speaking a lot of it. By Garcia Rodriguez de Montalvo. In his book, an island east of Asia was inhabited only by black Amazon type women. The queen of the woman was Khalifa, who was linked to a fortune of gold. And we know where it goes from there, okay? And the gold rush. Everything's around the same period, if you remember. The Spanish are claimed to have ventured to the area of San Francisco in 1769. Now, we know that they came upon the shores of California in the 1830s. But anyway, let's go. The Spanish are claimed to have ventured, they were down in South America, but not up here. The Spanish are claimed to have ventured to the area of San Francisco in 1769. Soldiers and a small group of settlers arrived in 1776, a coincidental date, as it also the start of the U.S. Revolution and signing Declaration of Independence. For some reason, it seems that the date 1776 wants to be stamped in the head of the student of history. Silent weapons for silent wars. You got to remember, France, Deutschland, Italy, England, Spaniola, all of them came here and they were fighting together after especially during the fictional Civil War. And they were fighting all sects of us everywhere as we were fighting those up north were fighting us down south. And we believe in the north and south stuff. All right. And that's what you won't see. But we're going to cover that through a lot of these books if you pay attention. All right. Anyway, the new Spanish settlement was given the name Yerba Buena, supposedly meaning good herbs. Hold on. Sneeze. Excuse me. Anyway, I don't want to get cramped. And in parentheses, it states, reminding me of Chicago, similarly named from onions, and Chalaga. It became a trading center for visiting ships. Mexico gained its independence from Spain in the 1820s and took over California in 1835. Yeah, 5-year war, 1830, when they came upon the shore and they were helped by the French. Melanated and pale. Yeah, real history. Englishman William Richardson built a house in Yerba Buena and set up, how would he be over there during that time, an Englishman? Anyway, and set up a street plan for the new city in the standard historical narrative, of course. Not one Spaniard or Mexican had thought of setting up street and city plans. It took a great and heroic English person to show up suddenly to do so. Pay attention. The Hudson's Bay Company opened a trading post 1841 in a Wikipedia article, and I read this yesterday, I'm reading it again. Article claims a large building on the water's edge was purchased. What large building? Remember I talked about not that long ago before the year when they had that great wave come in and it uncovered all those big pylons and structures and wall causeways. The Army Corps engineers got up in there, a certain group I don't know nothing about, and took all that down as quick as possible. And the excuse was, oh, that was the foundation to some building. Like they're going to build something that friggin' deep into the ground. I worked construction sites. It don't work that way. They flagrantly lie all the time. Anyway, let's go down to 1846 where we left off yesterday because we don't have to go over everything because we know about the next claim is important. The settlement was arranged in the Spanish style around the plaza. But anyway, 1846 becomes a very interesting year for San Francisco. It has a population of 800. Yeah, right. A fort, a mission, and unseen plaza. Early in that year, North Carolina was claimed by the U.S. from Mexico. North Carolina was claimed by the U.S. from Mexico in the Mexican-American War. On July 7th, the city was captured in the narrative without the Americans firing a shot. Sailors from the U.S. ship Portsmouth went into Yerba Buena and raised the American flag over North Carolina. California, not Carolina. I meant to say California all this time. I'm thinking about my daughter, San Francisco. Damn, Red, wake up. My foot's going numb, y'all. You got to excuse me. I'm dealing with that. I'm going to keep reading and not be too, you know what I mean? North California, excuse me. Again, let's get the year right. In 1846 becomes a very interesting year for San Francisco. It has a population of 800, a Ford mission in the Unseen Plaza. Early in that year, North California was claimed by the U.S. for Mexico in the Mexican-American War on July 7th. The city was captured in the narrative without the Americans firing a shot. That's why when I'm talking to some of my Mexican brothers, I says, man, stop it. That war is fictional. I said, do you know what Theodore Roosevelt was really doing with his Negro entourage? They were chasing some of the Yamasee and those from 1839 who didn't want to stay, who were POWs from the walk of death, not the trail of friggin' stupid tears for Hollywood purposes. Anywho, on July 7th, the city was captured in the narrative, right? And we know that. And went into Yerba Buena and raised the American flag over the town plaza. When the town offered no resistance, the name of the area was changed to that of Ship, becoming Portsmouth Square. Just 3 weeks later, July 31, 1846, 240 Mormon migrants led by Sam Brannan arrived on the ship Brooklyn. It seems very coincidental to have this group show up less than 3 weeks after one U.S. Navy ship captured the city. Why would the Mormons be coming to an, at the time, Mexican city? Well, they're going to make their way over to Utah and Utah. Anyway, because the group could not have gotten all of their travel arrangements completed in less than 3 weeks. They had to have planned and prepared to come before the city was captured. By January 30th, 1847, Yerba Buena had its name changed to San Francisco. This, of course, is odd because why would new U.S. settlers choose a Spanish name, St. Francis, for a small town they had just captured? That makes no sense. English people like to name cities New York and New London and New Hampshire. So this Spanish name must have been a part of the city long before it became an American city. Now, a lot of y'all know that there was Moors here, if you want to call them that. We were all over. Everybody was everywhere, man. I just get tired of the bullshit. Anyway, James Marshall is claimed to have found gold in 1848. Yet we are the orthodoxies, regardless of what you think. And the announcement took place in Portsmouth Square. It took another year before the gold rush of 1849 officially began, which caused a population jump from 1,000 to 25,000. The gold rush and Mormon arrival in 1846 do not, on the surface, seem linked, but they may be. We Warrior website has found that Joseph Smith, the originator of the Mormon church, came from a family of money diggers who claimed they could locate treasure by looking at a stone in a hat. The Mormons also settled Salt Lake City in the 1850s, where all of a sudden spectacular architecture sprang up overnight. So WW speculates that Smith may have had some sort of knowledge of an ancient map as to where the old cities were, not using hats or stones. The man credited with the California gold discovery, James Marshall, was working for the leader of the Mormon settlers, Samuel Brannan, and the one who arrived suddenly in 1846. In fact, it was Brannan on May 12, 1848, who was the one to make the headlines by running through the streets of San Francisco with a bottle full of gold, starting the actual gold rush. Brannan owned the store where all the mining supplies were purchased and made a killing. The gold was everywhere on this land, but he didn't feel like no gold. He had some gold with him, and he did that to make a killing selling pickaxes and shovels and all lanterns and all that other crap. Anyway, and by doing so became the first millionaire in the state. The real reason for the gold rush, though, might have been to generate a migration of large numbers of the eastern population to the west. Mining might have been the created cover story to do so. The funny thing is, all these fictional stories about Pilgrims fighting the Indians in the plains. Pure fabricated bullshit. Only ones to fight back were those of our stock. This photo is claimed to be San Francisco along Portsmouth Square, 1851. Check it out. By 1870, the city has a population of 150,000. How true is that story? To go from 800 people to 150,000 in 30 years, let us look a few things much closer. Look at a few things much closer. And this Portsmouth Square is going to be a central part of the investigation. The above photo is what they want you to think San Francisco looked like. No, it didn't. In 1851. In parentheses, it states in the very spot where the flag was raised in 1847. And it would make sense given the standard history presented. Below is another photo from 1851 of the harbor. Where did all these buildings come from in 4 years? Check this out. Let me show you. San Francisco, 1851 harbor. The bottom picture. That's the one they want you to believe. And that's the one. More conflicting is a very detailed article in sfmuseum.org that Portsmouth Square was bustling long before 1850. Well, a lot of people already seen some of the pictures from late 1700s of the electric rail cars and everything else. Some things that ain't even there no more. If you want to look at the sfmuseum.org, if you want to pull that stuff up, okay, as far as 1800s and all that. The article claims that Portsmouth Square was, the article claims that Portsmouth Square was a giant customs house, a series of great hotels, a line of palaces, the magnificence of whose interior even more than corresponds to the promise as their outward show. They were all devoted to the fickle goddess, Fortune, but they are good lounges for one who can withstand temptation. One hotel was the Parker House, first built in the spring of 1849. It was 65 feet long and 145 feet in depth, while 2 stories high. Where's this hotel structure in the photo of the square? 2 images above. What is the history of these great hotels? Like all cities, everything important gets burned in a fire and had to be rebuilt. The Parker Hotel was rebuilt 4 times. Why? Because history claims that early San Francisco went through 5 massive city fires. January 4th, 1849, December 24th, 1849, May 4th, 1850, June 14th, 1850, and September 17th, 1850. Each time the hotels and all the buildings were built, at least that is the story. But then we have the painting, the lithograph below the square in 1850, and it is very damning to the official historical story. I'm going to show you this. So we know they are full of caca. We were giants among men. Damn. That is gigantic. Let's go on to the heaven bearers. And then we'll get into more of the pictures and everything else. And more of the stories to reveal all the lies and inconsistencies these idiots concocted. They weren't that smart, people. Okay. Anyway, this Heaven Bearers, the Great Reset of 1834 and the Mud Flood. This is before Howdy Mikowski's. Well, in betwixt, right? If I remember right. In betwixt. 1851, 1950. So it's before. Okay. When I'm reading this order, just to give you a little synopsis of what we're dealing with over here. All right, here we go. Okay. And so we finished up yesterday. She will kill you for this. He musters a one last arrogant grin with it, he releases his last breath and gently slumps over. Bonnie was wrong. Life Oh, excuse me. Heaven Bearers, the Great Reset of 18th of her mud floor, Janine Helen. There she goes. I want to keep that up. This is a really good read. There is silence. No one, Bonnie was wrong. Life doesn't go back to normal. And her dream of them watching the twins play outside was just that, a dream. Azrael, like the coward he is, stands over Malcolm's dead body and pushes him over to the floor and looks at his lifeless face with pleasure. How are the creatures doing down in Alaska? There is silence, and no one wants to answer him. He steps away from Malcolm and stares down at the ground, and he can see the dome of fire and feel her power. It angers him. Her power is what he wanted. It was what he will get once he finishes off the competition, he tells himself. Baird steps forward reluctantly and swallows hard. She has them trapped inside some kind of electrical dome. How is that possible? He shouts and kicks Malcolm's lifeless body as he does so. She is just a silly girl. She doesn't even know what she is or what she is capable of. I want that power, he hisses, and Samira looks away in fear. She has found a way to harness the free energy, something we have not yet found a way to do, Azrael. And she has the staff of the elders. Samira snaps back at him carefully. She knows this revelation will anger him, and she happily stands her ground just to see his expression. Azrael scornfully grabs her by the neck and lifts her off the ground. Thank you for the reminder, daughter. I want the girl dead. Now go and find her, you useless bunch. He shrieks and lets her drop to the floor. They do as ordered and make their way down to the settlement, while Azrael walks back to King Finn, who is chained up in the far end of the densest part of the canopy. His arms are rubbed raw from the chains that he has been trying in vain to free himself from. And this excites Azrael. King Finn, you should know better than that. There is no way you can break those chains. But I do like it that you tried. He grins and licks his crusty lips. Your niece is just about dead. Sorry, King. It is finally over and she did suffer. He walks up closer to the king and smells his pain in the air. That was the good news. Now for the bad news. He chuckles sadistically. You will create another child, one who is just as powerful as she was, and you will do this specially for me. He turns away and breathes in his own arrogance and pride. I will be truly unstoppable then, he says out loud, talking to himself, and then looks back towards the king, only to suddenly frown in confusion. Something is different from the moment before, and his eyes flicker to the right. Or where he is standing is the canopy. It takes him only a moment, but it was a moment too long. No, he screams as the realization hits him like a hard stab to the heart, and he lunges forward to grab hold of the king, but it is too late. The tree of life has already consumed him, and he is gone. She has taken him with his approval to become part of the bark and act as a source of nutrients to keep the almighty tree alive. Azrael screams out in horror and shock. This was not supposed to happen. He needed the king and his powers. He was the last of his kind. The girl, he screams. And then he mutters in anger, and he knows he needs to stop the others from killing her at once. I need her alive, he howls from the canopy for them to hear him, and leaps out towards the ground. We're just going to start a little bit of chapter 20. I got to read a little more of this. I really enjoy this. The twins suddenly arrive back on the ground without Malcolm. Where's your father? She asks him with a worried look on her face, but she is distracted. Amel shrugs his shoulders. I don't know, Mother. We looked everywhere for him, but he wasn't in the canopy. There was no one there at all. So we went and scanned over the firmament for a while, thinking he might have gone there. The firmament, y'all. But he wasn't there either. I'm sorry, Mother. We thought it best to come back and help you here on the ground. Amelia says while she gives Emil a kind smile, "We are stronger together and we will stop them. Father will join us in a little while. I am sure of that." There is a loud groan that echoes and makes the ground shake violently. Bonnie is distracted by it, and her gaze goes back towards the creatures trying to kill them all. The creatures are dutifully still digging under the dome, and the biggest one has just about made it through. "I can't extend it any further, Bonnie," Cassiel shouts in her direction, and she can see that he is struggling to wield the power of the shaft. He isn't meant to. He is of the wrong bloodline, and they both realize this suddenly. Emil and Amelia take over from Cassiel and expand it down if you can. She both asks and orders them at the same time. There is no pre-written script. She doesn't know what she must do, but she knows she needs to defeat these creatures, and soon. The twins follow their mother's orders and manage to extend the dome down just enough to keep the other two creatures from being able to dig through. The third one has already managed to pull his hind legs through, and is standing on all fours, frothing at the mouth. It is hungry for blood, and it wants hers. Oh, anticipation is making you wait. Good read. I gotta get ready to take this thing off. Oh my goodness, let me see. It's still pretty solid. Get some shout outs. We're gonna sign off because I gotta relax. I can't take no potassium. The only potassium I get is from the lemons and the lime water, and I just don't want to cramp. If I got to, I'll enjoy a banana, a ganejo, and I just want to fast and make it through 3 or 4 days, and then, however far I choose to go, the cluster headaches, everything will reset. I just got to stand firm, you know. Let me get some shout outs. I appreciate everybody coming in. I do, because you know I love y'all. Randall, what's going on, beloved? Yo, West Side, what's cracking, family? Yeah, I know, right? You was like in that deep 808. I can't listen to it for long because you know it's not good for us. It's 440, you know. But yeah, ABGR, what's cracking, family? Joshua Northern, what's happening? Hey, Sue. Mikey Hill, peace, brother. What's going on? All right, now let's see that. Ray Wolf was cracking. Grand Elevation, Sidnelli. Evelyn Smiley, Halito Chimtruma. Hey, what's going on, Niji? What's going on? The Life's a great movie. I'll do my best without all the drama. You know, my mornings are gonna be crazy. If you come in, you know I'm gonna do something crazy. I got to. Hey, Sarada, what's going on, beloved? Make sure you send me that information, girl. Oh, I appreciate you so much. Mad love. Matt B Tree, what's cracking? You know what? I don't see it until I touch the screen. Every once in a while, a certain thing might pop up, but I appreciate y'all just the same. Yeah, that's what's up. I love that. The Vatican is our enemy. Definitely. Jack and the Beanstalk is not fiction. No, it's not. It is definitely not. How they've laid it out, you know that. But no, you got that right. The story is very true. Exactly. Period. You know that's right, huh? I know that's right. Oh, much love to you. Oh, much love to you, Sarada. I appreciate that. Oh, man, I love to see that. I love to see y'all greet each other. That is the most majestic for me. I know some of y'all might see my live early, but I'll be like, oh, what's that man going through? Put all that aside. Y'all, especially with your wrenches. Put all that aside because you know what I'm doing. Even if they come back and watch this, it don't matter. Watch tomorrow morning what I'm going to throw out there. And you know it's always going to be some tea. I'm going to share some more of my family history. My uncle came over and looked. He was like, "You ain't." He's like, "Oh yeah, I know. You gotta remember, he's 80. You know, he's the oldest. I'm the eldest of my generation. And he remembers when I was born up north. He was like, "Man, we wanted you to be born down south, but you know, Chuck didn't want to." You know, I was like, "It's all good. Vietnam and all that." He was coming, you know, coming around the corner and everything. You know, so 66 it was. You dig what I'm saying? My uncle, my father, everybody was off. They were young. You know what I'm saying? My godfather, Tyrone, his gay ass self, he's been long dead. I loved him, man. He was nothing but a man around all of us, man. See, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference to today compared to yesteryear. Big time difference. But anyway, I respect and I love you all. I know y'all can't wait until I read this. Y'all know I got like a whole bunch of books on America. Oh, so this ain't no U.S. I hate when these idiots say the United States. When were they divided? That's why they made that fictional civil war. I detest that. And then you see the interviews. Come to find out, one of the brothers they did on the interview, he knew about it, but they gave him a whole lot of liquor and tobacco. Still living in an old shanty. That was never his original place. I was so disturbed when I found that out. I was like, boy, these little wicked ass. But don't worry. Y'all know what I'm going to say. I know how it ends, but I know how it can end. It's good shit. I can't wait to read this to y'all. You know I'm going to have a gander through it here shortly. I got to get this big old thing off my foot. I'm going to show y'all. Don't laugh. I've got the soft packs. I don't like them things, so they don't stay frozen long. That thing is like a block of ice, and my foot is numb. But I need to keep it elevated. You feel me? So I'm gonna go ahead, throw a couple pillows up under there, sit back, put on some different music. Where's my other book at? Oh, it's right over here. I'm gonna grab this Book of America and Tartaria, and I'm doing a comparison between the two. Because I'm probably going to add the Book of America with the Book of Tartaria when I read those next, when I finish these completely, with the other three books. And it's going to be fabulous. Now, the other three books are kind of hard hitters. So I might, again, because we have new people in here, and I appreciate all you who have subscribed. I really do. Don't pay me no mind for those who are really interested in a lot of truth. Hear me talking about a good little information, but if I start going off the BI, just go ahead and remove yourself. Just because some people might, it can turn people away, and that's my whole job, to do that. But I might go ahead and read Nos Confoundum. Those three books again with Tartaria and the Book of America. That one, not the other books of America I have. And I believe they will, oh man, go together so well. And to hear it reading again, you know, and I actually, it's to memory because I'm always looking at, you know, the ice wall, the daughter from across the wall, blah, blah, Man of Mars. It's like every time I read this, it's further engraved compared with everything else that I've been reading. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, it's about love. It's my beloved, beautiful sisters, our beloved, beautiful, powerful women, and to our wonderful, excellent, strong, powerful men. I salute y'all. Nothing but love. And y'all still can donate. I ain't stopping. But you think I'm gonna stop buying books? Just because I got a bank account don't mean I'm gonna stop buying. But y'all can still help. This y'all help me get this. This one was $45.69. Was it? I gotta look that up. Make sure. Hold on now. Oh, I thought I got them on sale now. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Hold on. I know I ain't paid that much for that one. Oh, no. And maybe I did. Oh, here we go. Pop that in. No, I paid. Oh, it says $14.50. That's 40. I paid $25. This one's now saying it's $14.56. What the hell? Hold on, let me go back to shopping, nigga. Oh, well, okay, $40 there. I got this one for $34.20 used, and I got it on 8 books and thrift books, right? These are the ones I've been using. On Amazon, China's only $14.56. I use these two over here. I don't like Amazon. Amazon been acting up lately. All right, if you see me saying I'm gonna buy a book, man, y'all go ahead and say, look, man, I found it for this price, and you find it for better than I find it, because I'm a book fiend. You know how the crackhead run and get the nickel rock, and they don't know if they're getting stuck or not. Well, look, don't beat me up too bad, all right? All right. So now there's a very, very old book with leather cover. It's an antique collectible, vintage on Etsy. Oh my goodness. And I might just get that, just buy that just to have it. Cause man, dude, you got to be fucking kidding me. Dictionary, total wrote dictionnaire of Portugal and French. I told you they were together when they came here. All of them were together. Those are hairs, no ain't no boogies in my nose. That is what I'm talking about. When you get books like this, going back to damn 15 and 1600s, and you can find it for $105.61, you get them. Very rare and old book with leather cover, antique collectible book, vintage dictionary, J.R. Rocret dictionary, Portuguese Francais. I don't care. I'll have to be learning some Portuguese then. Dude, oh, the reviews. I'm gonna have to put that up in the thing, y'all. Only one available. Add to cart. Okay. Look, I just added. I might just go ahead and I might be getting ready to buy that right now, y'all. I'm sorry. I just want something like that. No, man. Library, y'all. Ain't no joke, bro. But I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everything y'all doing, taking the time to listen to this old head. We're young. And I'm going to sign off, and I'll see y'all tomorrow in the AM. All right? All right. Love you guys. What's the postage and shipping price? Well, you talking about on the other one? I just went forward on this. I'm going to save that to my screen. Let me add this to my screen. Hold on, guys. Add the home screen. Etsy. Book 105. Let me decide this right quick, and I'll let you know that. Sue. Vintage. I want to put the name in. My apologies, guys. And that's Portugal and Francois. France. Bam. Done. Add. Boom. All right, now let me go back over here. My apologies. And that one was exactly. All right, so I already got the book, but from Amazon it was $14.56. God dog, man. And then I went to but that's in the beginning right there. I went right to the I go right because it's on my screen. I go right to add books and then mess with Amazon because Amazon be bothering me. So I go to books and thrift books, and that's where I saw Eastern Press even $40. Let me go to shopping books. There we go. See what they pull up. All right, so here they got the reviews over here. I never really look at that. And they have another one that looks just like it. So we'll go back to shopping. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I already got it. Like I said, it was $34.20. I spent about $40 for the shipping and everything from books. It's just look it up. That's just the way it is. Now they had the history of ancient America anterior to the time of Columbus. I'm not big on that one. That's Amazon for $17.21. I'm not big on that one. I'm just not. Walmart, that one, the ancient America anterior to the time of Columbus, 1843, $55.36. Walmart. Shit. I ain't getting that no time soon. Now, I'm gonna share this and I'm gonna get off of here. The Discovery of America with some accounts of ancient America and the Spanish conquest, complete in 2 volumes with John Fisk, is $130. Now, those are the things I like to get. You dig what I'm saying? Those are the ones I like to get. Now, the history of ancient America, that Barnes and Noble, my Nook, I have a Nook. I have 2 Nooks that I used in college. So I might, hey, thank you. Hey, so $50. Damn, girl, you have to like 20. Then, you good. Thank you, baby girl. So I'm about to, I'm gonna have to put that to the 100 and something. So I'm gonna get that motherfucker leather book. Say one left. I'm about to buy it right now. Anyway, so for the Nook, it's only like $199. And I love that. But the Nook has the blue screen. The blue screen is not good for our eyes. Remember I was talking about the red NM as far as lights to correct visual. I actually bought a thing that I could put over my eyes. I'm waiting for that to come too. And it has that 770 whatever NM, which is not the infrared, which destroys your retina, nor the blue light, which slowly deteriorates and causes a glaucoma type thing. So I'll be sleeping with that to further correct my eye vision, which has gotten better since high school. So I'm gonna go ahead and order that bad boy. I put it on my screen. So swoop, it just went over. Man, I got so many books and stuff on here, y'all. James Baldwin, you know it. I got stuff, college stuff too. You see the university shit. Don't pay that no mind. This college make you dumb. Anyway, I'm ordering that right now. Coming. No, I love you. I appreciate you, sis. I really do, beloved. I wish more people would come over. If more people came over, I would just be reading and sharing my history without all the witch call. But I know there's individuals coming who don't respect the game to keep and support one another. So I know it's somebody else. So I'm gonna act a fool cautiously. But the reading, I know when the family comes and I see certain people pop up, I can't, when it's that far away, I'm not gonna get close to read everything because it's pretty small, But let me go ahead and I'm gonna place that right now. 10561. And it's already in the shopping cart. This order is a gift. No, nigga, it's for me. What the fuck you mean it's a gift, nigga? Proceed to checkout. Continue as guest. No, I got the email. Nigga, what the fuck wrong with you, man? Yo, Westside, is this the one where you at? All right, so I just placed it. It says I'm waiting for it to load up. It's doing the circle thing. Is it snowing down there? Because I know it was in San Bernardino, right? California, it was snowing. Westside, is it snowing down there where you at, bro? Because it's warm right here, bro. It's warm here in Page, brother. Westside, is it snowing down there? And down in Phoenix. All right, so we good to go. Appreciate that, rep. It snowed where you at, Randall? Oh shit. All right, so that's banging. West side, did it snow down there in Phoenix? I know it's coming through slower than mug up here. All right, so good. All right. So I'm gonna save the cell thing. Let me take a screenshot of that. Screenshot. I got to hold 2 buttons to get a screenshot. There. Damn it. There we go. Screenshot. All right, there we go. Yo, West Side. Is it snowing down in Phoenix? I have my thing turned off on my tablet location. Otherwise, I would look over there. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess it up. I don't even have the weather on here, I don't think. I used to have it on here. Oh, here it goes. All right, let's see what it says. Yeah, turn it on for a moment. Okay, the fuck. All right. Oh, it says y'all got rain today, bro. 1%. Y'all ain't getting no snow down there, man. What about Tucson? So you got a little bit over there. Tucson. Why is it doing that? What in the fuck? This shit is bugging out, man. Hell no. This giving me goddamn Argentina, man. It was this morning. Tucson had some, but it melted. Okay, yeah. It's saying, and look, it just said that y'all 1% rain. That's all it says. This shit is crazy, man. That is crazy, bro. Now I was asking him if they got some down there in Phoenix. I didn't even talk to my boy Cottrell. I think he just flew back. Him and his old lady got back the other day. You love your Alexa? Shit, man. Y'all gonna be 70 degrees, bro. God damn. I'm going back here. Let me see what the weather's gonna be like here. I'm gonna let y'all know. Page, motherfucker. All right. Well, we're gonna be in the 50s. 57, 60. Oh, I like that shit. All right, well, I'm gonna sign off. I said I was gonna sign off, but anyway, it got about 50 today, about 48, 50 degrees. It was pretty nice. I like the cold anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, man. Much love, much respect, everybody. All right. He said, Alexa said, no snow in Phoenix. I can't fuck with no goddamn Alexa. Fuck that shit. All right, anyway, I appreciate y'all. Mad love and respect. And I'm gonna holler at y'all later. All right.